Welcome back to Great Day. Almost every job or level of education requires some level of digital skill, whether it's working a cash register, joining an online conference call, or accessing information. According to a recent report, jobs that require even one digital skill pay an average of $8,000 a year more than jobs with no digital skill requirements. That's why Comcast is focused on closing that digital divide.
Doing automotive work, I didn't have a real big need for computer skills until I got injured and couldn't do that type of work anymore. To gain other employment, I have to have better computer skills. Once I went into the digital navigation course, the internet has opened up so many opportunities for me.
Kenneth took part in one of Comcast's digital Navigator programs. Broderick Johnson is the Executive Vice President of Public Policy and the Executive Vice President of Digital Equity for Comcast. He joins me with more on how those programs are creating a stronger workforce and a stronger community. Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
It's so funny. We were talking about, what our age is. We're kind of in the same age group, but I remember vividly in third grade, our teacher said at some point, all of us are going to have to learn to work on a computer. And we were like laughing. We thought she's nuts. Yeah. They were thinking, what, there's 2001 Space Odyssey? What is she talking about? Then by the time I got in college, I remember the teacher said, toss out the typewriter, we're not doing that. You're working on the computer. The problem was we had to go to the library, sign up, you had 1 hour, and if you weren't done in that 1 hour, too bad. So I got that sense of that feeling of not having access to something like that. Before we get to that, I want to talk about your background.
Sure.
What was your earliest ideas of digital technology, and in your career, what have you seen change?
Well, so we were talking about age, so we can go back to what were the tools when I was growing up that my parents made sure that we had access to. It was encyclopedias, right? Remember, you get encyclopedias every year. So those were the tools, though, that helped you learn about the world. Of course, over time, then, it's about technology and having access to computers. Now, when I worked for President Clinton, the big goal when we talked about the digital divide was being able to have a computer in every classroom. Now the goal is to get a computer in every home. And that's how much it's changed over time.
And you've worked throughout the administrations where that was the goal.
Absolutely.
All right, Comcast, Houston's largest internet service provider, video, high-speed internet, and phone providers. And we obviously know that there are advantages of the internet in so many different ways.
Yes, there are so many reasons that people need to be online. The segment you showed with Kenneth, for example, where it's about automotive skills, that's changed so much. It's ubiquitous, it's everywhere. People need to have digital skills training, and we have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to make that possible for people all across this country.
Access to jobs, people can get online and find jobs. What we certainly saw during COVID was, people could work from home.
That's right.
And so, especially if you have young children at home, it gives you that opportunity to still have a career. You can go to college from home.
That's right. I mean, but you need to have access, and you need to have quality access to be able to get online. Then you need to have devices to make sure that you're not trying to compete with someone who has a better device than you do in order to compete for the job or to apply for college or to get digital skills training.
And when we say have devices, we're not talking about just your phone, right? And there are a lot of people out there who could not imagine life without these devices, and it's just a normal part of their life. But the problem is, it's not a normal part for a lot of people. When we talk about the digital divide, how wide is that divide?
The divide has been wide for a long time, and we saw during the pandemic that it got wider for children who went home from school and would be home for school in many cases for well over a year. Not having a device set them further back, and we know that there are disparities based on race or income. So the disparities got worse. Fortunately, though, resources came through the federal government, through what's being done with partnerships here, Comcast working with organizations here to address that divide by getting people access to the internet, by getting them devices, but also helping them get training, because training is such a big part of it.
What good is a device if you don't know how to use it?
People are intimidated by
Share a
those
story.
devices.
My mom was the kind of person who had to have the latest of everything, so she went and got the biggest, baddest computer she could think of. And she's like, well, your father and I got a computer. And I'm like, okay. She's plugged it in. It's not doing anything. It doesn't work. Well, you gotta have a little help there, Mom. You can't just plug it in. She goes, no, I put it back in the box. We're done with it. Right? So you gotta know how to use it, right? And then have like Comcast, so you have a service. So you address those barriers. In fact, the last time I saw you, you were talking about we have a plan to address these barriers. You're seeing that gap close, starting with cost.
That's right. So we know that awareness has been a big barrier. People not knowing how they could get the internet, and millions of people can get the internet now for free because of a program started by the Biden administration, and now it's helping with communities all over the country. It's called the Affordable Connectivity Program.
Yeah.
So cost has been taken really off the board for a lot of people. But a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
So we have to educate them on that.
Yeah.
And in rural Texas, it's not just about cost. There are a lot of communities that don't have the internet yet. So Comcast is working with the state of Texas to go into rural parts of Texas. So access, cost, but then relevance.
Yeah.
And this goes to what you said about your parents. What difference will it make if I go through all this trouble to figure out how to be online?
Well, they have to see the value. I think some
That's
people
right.
are intimidated. Others it's out of
right.
fear. Others don't want to look like they're like not smart about something. It's
Yeah.
like put those barriers away.
That's
You're
right.
there to help. You have
That's
digital
right.
navigator programs so that people
That's
can
right.
access whatever it is you need to do.
That's right. So we have 2 pilots here in Houston, for example, and they are already showing great results. One of them is at SER Jobs and working with the mayor's office, Complete Communities, that partnership, and Comcast is helping there, with a $150,000 grant that is serving 150 families in 4 communities here in Texas. And these digital navigators go into those communities and help people with the basic skills, but also more advanced skills, what to do with the computer when you get that. And we're seeing fantastic results already through that pilot.
Yeah.
The second pilot is through Goodwill. And Comcast is working with Goodwill in what's called Veritas Properties, apartment complexes here. We've seen 140 families be able to get access to the internet through training that they're getting as a result of our work. 90-minute sessions are being held, and this makes me so proud of Comcast, by our employees, where they are sitting down working with people in those apartment complexes to help them figure out how to get online. It is life-changing.
Yeah, it is life-changing. And then, another thing we saw during COVID, it had already existed, but it was brought to light, is the isolation that a lot of people live in. And a lot of elderly folks in particular just kind of live in this within their 4 walls.
That's
and
right.
because they can't get out for whatever reason, but what the internet does, or that digital connect does, is opens them up to the rest of the world.
That's right.
84-year-old Miss Jo, you have a story with her.
Yeah, Miss Jo. When I was here the last time in November, I got to see a group of senior citizens, African Americans, who work with digital navigator programs. Well, this Miss Jo woman, I think she's 80 plus years old, but she has health challenges. And so for her, being able to get appointments with her doctor online or being able to have virtual sessions is really important to reduce the stress, reduce the commute times for her. So she works with a digital navigator. His name is Fernando, it's his first name, and he has helped her be able to get online for her telehealth visits and appointments.
And I'll tell you right now, she's not just doing telehealth right now. She's probably, I'm shopping. She's shopping now online. She's doing everything online. But it really does open up a whole new world to you.
Absolutely.
And anyone can access the digital navigator.
That's right. So you can go to, for example, with this program I mentioned with SER Jobs in the city of Houston, you can go to the website. It's serjobshouston.com, I believe, and that's how you can get information
We
about
have the
that.
information right there on the
that's
screen.
Right, yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a phone number as well.
Yeah.
So there are ways to access these digital navigators.
And you can tell, it is tangible what is happening in certain areas of town that you've moved around and made these differences. I want to bring Ramel Williams in right now. He's the Urban Lead Director of the Workforce Development and Training. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
How are you, brother?
Good to see you
again. Yeah, thank
And
you.
Ramel, you see firsthand what that digital divide is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So through the sponsorship of Comcast and the National Urban League, we operate a program called the Urban Tech Jobs 2.0 program. So we're able to train and certify individuals in all type of IT trades, anything from entry level, keyboarding, internet essentials, Amazon Web Service, cyber security. So we are boots on the ground, making sure that people are getting not only the technology, but the training, the certification, and the jobs after they complete the training.
And that's the key there, is the jobs, to make them financially
Absolutely.
independent. Because
That's
when
right.
you go in and try to apply for anything, it's like they're like, okay, name, address, all types of don't have that skill. That stops a lot of people in their tracks.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep. What we have found in some research that we've done with the National Skills Coalition, 92% of today's jobs, we're not talking about 10 years from now, require at least one digital skill.
Yeah.
And that's across all sectors. So it's really, really important.
Yeah, and we were talking about earlier just what it does, that one digital skill, the basics of skill makes an $8,000 difference.
That's right.
But for a lot of people, like I just said, not having that skill means you don't even get a chance to apply.
Exactly. And we can't leave people behind.
Yeah. And the other thing is, we talk all the time about Houston being the fourth largest city in the country, and
Yeah.
you know, Houston's on this trek, and a lot of industries realize that. A lot of industries want to move here, but one of the things that they check is a number of things. One is what's the literacy rate in your town,
That's right. That's
Because we
right.
need a strong workforce.
That's
But the other one is what's the digital capacity of people that we want to hire. So that can mean the difference between millions of dollars and a very solid
Absolutely.
economy here in Houston.
That's right. What is the digital literacy rate in your community? But we have a once in a lifetime opportunity to solve that because of tremendous resources being put into it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
What would it mean to your program if you had some resources put into it called some laptops?
That would be one of the most thoughtful and generous gifts that we can have.
Yeah.
We have so many youth, young adults, and older adults that do not have technology. They don't know how to access the technology. So not only just with the laptops, but with the internet essentials and having the low cost of free broadband, and then able to come in to get the training, man, we would change lives of everyone.
Yeah.
Because we get stories all the time.
Yeah.
There's grandparents that have small children that they're looking after. The grandparents doesn't know how to use the technology, the kids doesn't. So to really change the household knowledge base around IT would be so much
To have the
helpful.
technology.
All right, Broderick, let them know what we're
So,
doing here.
with that, we can help you out and gladly help you out by, I'll just pick up this device here. So Comcast is going to make 150 laptops.
Wow.
We're going to give those to your organization to address that technology
Thank you.
issue, right?
Thank you.
This
Wow.
is an example of one of them, but there'll be 150 more because it does not matter if you have access to the internet if you don't have the right kind of device in order to be able to use it. As you said, you can't train people,
Yeah.
for example. And, so there you go. We are proud to be able to do that.
We'll go back to my
Thank you.
mom. She
Thank
wanted a
you.
Yeah.
smartphone because she saw other people in her nursing home having smartphones. So I got her one, and she rolls up and she goes to her friend. She goes, what? She goes. She's like, oh, you have a smartphone. I go, Mom, let me teach you how to use that smartphone. No, I just needed it to
show it.
to show them
right.
I have one too. All right, how does someone access services, and who needs to qualify to access services with the Urban League?
The services are open to anyone. They can access any of our program services through our website, www.haul.org. While I have a second, can I plug our national conference?
You have more than a second, sir. You go right ahead.
Well, of course, we have our national conference that is here in town, July 26th through the 29th. I want to highlight Community and Family Day, which is this Saturday from 10 to 5 at the George R. Brown Convention Center. We have a career fair, so anyone that's looking for work that want to get a job in IT, come to the career fair. We're giving away 10,000 backpacks, school supplies. We have a legal clinic, health and wellness, entrepreneurship, small businesses, tech space, King space, her space. It's for the community and it's for your family.
Yeah.
It is free of charge. Anyone can come down. Metro have free bus rides, rail rides. So if you are free this Saturday, please come down and celebrate the National Urban League, celebrate the 55 years of service at the Houston area Urban League.
I was going to ask you to explain to people what Urban League is if they don't know. I think you
Sure.
almost explained it in that
Yeah,
nutshell
yeah.
right there. But that's what it was established for,
Yes,
is to
absolutely.
connect
That's right.
those in their underserved communities so that they can
Absolutely.
rise above.
Absolutely. And if you are looking to get into the IT space, our program funded by Comcast pays for your tuition, your books, exam, support services, transportation assistance. There is no excuse.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
what it's all
now,
about,
and now
partnerships.
we have quality
Yeah.
technology and equipment for you.
Makes
Yeah.
all the difference in the world.
Absolutely.
We are so proud of being able to do that.
We're all sitting here in the space that we're in right now because we had access and we're able to take advantage of it. And so thank you all for
Thank you.
offering that to other folks as well. Thanks, Comcast.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
right. Thank
you.
Again, any Houstonian can access a digital navigator free of charge. To schedule an appointment, call Sir Jobs, that's SER Jobs, at 713-773-6000. Again, that number is 713-773-6000, or email digitalnavigator@sirhouston.org. That information will also be on our website. You can learn more about Comcast's ongoing efforts to shrink the digital divide in our area by visiting comcasttexas.com.